If you are from the Jersey Shore or from Essex, you are going to love
the brand new Head Radical 2025
Pro.
Damn. Ben and Joe here from PH Tennis, and today we are testing the brand new Head Radical Pro 2025 Exotic 2.0.
Very exciting. Radical is a really fun racket. They've made it funner, Ben, with this colour, and maybe more fun with the Exotic 2.0 as well. In terms of what's new for 2025, well, it's Exotic 2.0 as far as I can tell.
Which is our favourite of the Exotics and of most tennis racket material.
Yes, Minilon running it close, but I think Exotic 2.0 probably has the lead. So what you get in the Pro, you get a 315 gram static weight, you get a 16 by 19 pattern, you get a 315 balance. So it is, as a Radical should be, manoeuvrable, even with that extra weight, manoeuvrable, fun to play with, throw around. We'll see.
Not necessarily, it's a control frame.
But it's a control frame with a little bit of lightness added. And I don't mean weight, Ben.
No.
I mean levity.
Yes, a fun control racket that has existed in various guises for well over 20 years. It's actually the first racket I ever played with, was the Head Radical Microgel way back in 2003. So you go 22 years, and I've been playing with, I think I've used every single one since. So it'll be interesting to see what this new one has got to offer.
Yes. Let us delve into the technical specifications.
Ooh, exciting stuff.
Yes, there is, of course, Exotic 2.0, if you haven't heard from us already, is a fantastic material that expands as you open the racket up, and as you swing and you make contact, it then tightens up again. Fantastic for feel, for a little bit of power, but generally just a responsive stability, and we love it.
Yes, it's weird to have a favourite material, but we do. In the Radical, we also have graphene inside. Now, graphene inside, strategically placed around the frame for essentially a more stable contact in what is quite a narrow beamed racket. We also have sound grommets. Now, Head keep telling us that their rackets sound better. We don't care, really. It's not a big selling point, the sound of a racket.
But apparently the sound grommets also give a little addition of power.
So that's all good then.
Yes.
Yes.
Power we care about.
Yes, and if you want to sound good when playing tennis, a nice grunt will probably do the work for you.
Yes.
We also have a control pattern. So 1619 is a fairly open string pattern. Normally in these heavier frames, you get an 1820, but Head have tightened up, essentially made the string pattern more dense in the middle of the racket to create a little bit more control. That's what the control pattern is called. Main thing to remember with a Radical is that it's a 98 square inch frame, so that's why it is a control frame.
Yeah.
It's still got a 1619 string pattern, which is rare in a control frame. It's also quite rare in a 315 gram racket, so we expect that to give it a little bit more spin, a little bit more power, kind of balancing out the other spec, which suggests it would be more of a control racket.
Yes.
All in all, we're not really sure what to expect here.
No, I mean, its sort of marketing slogan is versatility, and yes, that's kind of what you'd expect from this sort of setup, but we'll see when we get on court and put it through its paces. We have strung this up with Head Hawk Touch, a la Yannick Sinner and Sasha Zverev. Their string of choice, Ben, not one that they are promoted, not one that Head gives them, the string that they choose.
And it is a control string, so it should match the racket really nicely. Strung at 50 pounds, as we normally do. See how it goes.
I'm really looking forward to it, Ben. Should we do it?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, we've just finished testing the new Radical Pro. What did you think?
I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. I'm really sorry for all of you that complain that we always just like stuff. This is a terrific racket. Not normally a racket I would go for, but it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's always tricky when we start playing with these rackets. Our first initial response is always really, really telling, and both of us instantly went, "Ooh, this is nice. We like it." And then our second thought is, uh-oh, people are going to think we're just trying to sell them to people.
And I start thinking, uh-oh, maybe I've got to find a new racket. Maybe this is my new racket. I think one of the things, as well as being impressed initially, I think one of the other things that I found amazing in a 315 gram racket, it feels about 260.
Yes.
It's so maneuverable. Obviously, you've got a lower, it's sort of handle heavy. You've got the auxetic in the handle as well. It is so maneuverable that you can't believe that it's 315 grams.
Yeah, it plays so much lighter than its static weight. It feels light and easy and maneuverable whilst being a good, solid control frame. It's a fantastic combination.
Yeah, and we sort of wondered whether it would feel like this in our introduction before we played with it. And I think to me it does. It feels to me like a fun control racket. It's sort of less serious than a Percept or a Blade. It's sort of easier than those rackets to me. It is a control frame, but with a little orange twist.
Yeah, I guess the main difference, and I think probably what we're feeling more than anything else, is it is a heavy frame. 315 grams you classify as a heavy racket, and normally you get very, very serious. You get 1820, you get 1820 string pattern, you get a 98 square inch. Now this is a 98 square inch, but it's designed to be. Then they've put 1619 string pattern in, which sort of opens it up a little bit, and it's so thin, the frame, and so maneuverable, it just feels like you're playing with something that just wants to be swung around.
Yeah.
So weirdly, it's almost an attacking racket that gives you some control. So it's kind of like going, are you sure? I'm just gonna rein you in a little bit.
Yes.
It gives you the confidence to have huge, great big swings at the ball, be really aggressive, be really front foot, but is then just like a nice little safety net.
Yes, and that's a really great way of putting it. It does give you confidence to swing and go for it. It's so maneuverable. It can get you out of jams, so you feel comfortable flinging it around. Just really impressed.
Yeah, well, and I think that was the big thing is that normally when you get the rackets like this, there's always something they can't do particularly well, and I think this is where the Radical does excellently. Kind of does everything. So when we were serving at each other, it was great to serve with, and then you can still block and push a defensive shot because there's enough weight in it.
Yeah.
But you can still do that. So you kind of, when you need it to be stable and strong and heavy and powerful, it is.
Yeah.
And then when you want it to be light and maneuverable and whippy, it is. Yeah. Which is amazing.
And I think that obviously I play with power rackets, so things like defending and returning serves, it is more tricky with this. But Ben's right, that bit of weight just gives it enough solidity, enough stability that you can block back first serves, you can really defend with it pretty well. In terms of power, pretty good for a control racket, pretty good on spin, really good on control. The auxetic 2.0 gives great feel. It's a really, really good all-round racket. For volleying, I think there are a couple of things. Because it's so easy to maneuver, it's really good. You can maneuver the racket. Funnily enough,
doesn't it?
Yeah, I think because of that narrow beam, you don't get the same sort of stability you might get from an E-zone or a pure drive or something like that. That is really sensational for those sort of shots. But that's not what you'd expect. That's not what it's trying to do.
And again, it just urges you to be more proactive with your volleying, rather than at the net sort of blocking and jabbing and sort of taking it on and sort of being a bit more front foot, a bit more positive. It's almost like the racket is demanding it is used in a certain way, and then when you get it right, it's like, yeah, thank you, this is how I want to be used. Now I'm going to let you play brilliant tennis.
Exactly. Who's going to love it? Who's it for?
So if you can play, and if you're strong enough to use a 315 gram racket, you have got to try it. If you're worried about it being heavy, I think you should probably give it a go. It doesn't feel like it. So it is a good club level, I wouldn't say intermediate. I would always suggest an intermediate steers slightly away from control frame. Maybe lots of personal preference involved. But if you like having a big, long cut at the ball, if you like being front foot, if you like having fun on a tennis court and being expressive and creative, you've got to try it. Yeah,
and when we talk about sort of other rackets that are going to be similar, so if you want to try it, if you're using a Blade 1619, the Pure Strike 1619.
Yeah. But they are lighter. They're 15 grams lighter.
They are lighter.
But this feels like them, doesn't it?
Percept is a sort of slightly more serious. Percept 97D is up there in weight, the normal Percept. So you could go for a Percept, either the normal 97 or the 97D. But really, I would choose this because it's more fun. Yeah, and the orange looks aren't for everyone, but get over it. You're looking at the ball anyway, right? There we have it. That is the Head Radical Pro 2025.
We've also been testing the brand new MP and its predecessor, so stay tuned for those videos as well. But definitely get on court, give it a try. Fantastic racket, couldn't be more positive.
Yes. As always, don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe so you never miss a thing from PH Tennis. Off for a spray tan, Ben.